When I first rolled my MOVing truck into Willow Creek, a pristine suburban enclave with manicured lawns and elegant homes, I thought I'd found paradise. The air smelled of fresh-cut grass, and the neighborhood radiated a quiet pride. But whispers from my new neighbors hinted at a storm lurking beneath the surface. "Watch out for Linda Harper," they'd say, their eyes flickering with unease. "She runs the HOA like it's her personal kingdom." I brushed it off. As a corporate attorney, I dealt with my share of petty tyrants. How bad could one HOA president be? 6 months later, I'd learned the answer the hard way. Linda wasn't just strict. She was a force of chaos, and I was about to become her prime target. I'm meticulous by nature. Before signing the deed, I pored over Willow Creek's HOA guidelines, determined to be the model resident. The rules were standard: no recyclable trash cans, lawns kept tidy, vehicles in good repair. Easy enough. The neighborhood's charm, its orderly streets and cohesive aesthetic made compliance feel worthwhile. But Linda had a knack for bending those rules to suit her whims, her interpretations as unpredictable as a summer squall. Our first run-in was tame. A typed notice appeared on my door, scolding me for leaving my trash cans, recyclable, behind a low decorative fence. The note, signed with a flourish, demanded they be completely out of sight, except on pickup day, with completely underlined 3 times in red ink. I shrugged, moved the cans to my garage, and figured that was that. I was wrong. 2 weeks later, another note arrived. This time, Linda claimed my lawn was a 1/4 inch too tall. I grabbed a ruler and measured damn if she wasn't right. The precision was laughable, but I adjusted my mowing schedule. Peace mattered more than pride. Still, I started to sense Linda's game. She wasn't just enforcing rules, she was hunting for control, picking fights to flex her authority. I kept my head down, hoping to stay off her radar. Then my brother, Ethan, came to sit, and everything unraveled. Ethan parked his car, a slightly weathered but reliable sedan, in my driveway. It had a small dent on the rear bumper and some faded paint on the hood, but it ran like a dream. 3 days into his stay, at 7:30 a.m., a sharp knock jolted me awake. There stood Linda, blonde hair sculpted into a flawless bob, clutching her ever-present clipboard like a scepter. Her face was a mask of officious disdain. "Good morning, Linda," I said, forcing a smile despite my half-finished coffee. "What's the issue today?" She pointed at Ethan's car with a manicured nail. "That vehicle violates Section 8, Paragraph 4 of the Community Guidelines." I blinked, confused. I'd memorized those rules. Nothing banned guest parking in my own driveway. "Linda, I've read the guidelines," I said calmly. "There's no rule against this." Her eyes narrowed, and she flipped through her clipboard with theatrical precision. "The guidelines state no vehicle in disrepair may be recyclable from the street. That car's dent and faded paint are unacceptable." I nearly laughed. "With all due respect, it's Ethan's daily driver. It's fully functional. A couple of cosmetic flaws don't equal disrepair." Linda's voice sharpened, a hint of venom creeping in. "I'm the HOA president. I decide what's a violation. Move that car within 24 hours, or you'll face a $100 daily fine." My patience frayed, but I kept my tone even. "Can you show me where the bylaws grant you unilateral authority to reinterpret rules without board approval?" Her face flushed crimson. "I don't have to justify myself to you," she snapped, then spun on her heel, her clipboard clutched like a shield as she stormed off. That night, I dug into the bylaws again. As suspected, Linda was bluffing. Her power wasn't absolute. I drafted a polite but pointed email to the HOA board, copying Linda, outlining the situation and requesting clarification on the vehicle policy. I attached photos of Ethan's car, proving it was in fine shape despite its minor blemishes. The next morning, I left early for a critical client meeting, and Ethan took an Uber to an appointment, leaving his car in the driveway. My phone stayed quiet until mid-meeting, when urgent texts from my neighbor, Greg, flooded in. "Linda's at your house. She looks pissed." Then, holy crap, she's messing with Ethan's car. I'm recording this. My stomach dropped. When the meeting ended, I opened Greg's VY Dale, and my blood ran cold. There, in broad daylight, was Linda, her face twisted with smug satisfaction, dragging a key along the side of Ethan's car. Deep scratches bloomed in the paint, deliberate and vicious. She didn't stop there. Pulling a permanent marker from her purse, she scrawled "violation" across the windshield in bold, jagged letters. The footage captured every detail: her face, her actions, even the way she glanced around, as if daring anyone to challenge her, before strutting back to her house 4 doors down. Rage surged through me, but I stayed focused. I called the police, sent them Greg's VY Dale, and broke the news to Ethan. He took it with a grim chuckle. Well, now it's definitely in disrepair. His humor steadied me, but I felt sick knowing his car was collateral damage in Linda's vendetta. The police arrived within 30 minutes. After reviewing the VY Dale and taking statements from Greg and me, 2 officers marched to Linda's house. From my driveway, I could see her through her window, gesturing wildly, her voice no doubt spinning some absurd defense. 20 minutes later, my jaw dropped as they led her out in handcuffs, her face a mix of shock and indignation. One officer approached me. "We're charging her with criminal mischief and vandalism," he said. "The damage exceeds the law 1000, making it a felony. She had the marker and keys in her purse, and we found VY Dales on her phone of other cars she's damaged. You're not her first target, just the first with solid EVY Denke." I was floored. Linda, the self-appointed queen of Willow Creek, had been terrorizing the neighborhood for years. As the patrol car drove off, neighbors emerged, drawn by the spectacle. Stories poured out, gardens trashed for non-compliant, plants, decorations stolen, anonymous complaints filed over nothing. Linda's reign of terror had festered in silence, her clipboard a weapon no one dared challenge until now. 2 days later, an emergency HOA meeting packed the community center. The VYC president, a retired judge named Harold, took charge. He announced Linda's immediate suspension, and the board voted unanimously to oust her for gross misconduct. They offered to cover Ethan's repair costs from the HOA's legal fund, but I declined, grateful but resolute. The room buzzed with relief, as if a weight had lifted from Willow Creek. Linda's downfall didn't end there. The district attorney, spurred by more VY Tims stepping forward, pursued her case relentlessly. 3 weeks later, I sat in a courtroom as the judge delivered her fate: 6 months in county jail, 3 years of probation, $15,000 in fines and restitution, 200 hours of community service, and a 10-year ban from serving on any HOA board. Linda's composure shattered. "I was just enforcing the rules," she wailed, tears streaking her face as she faced the neighbors packed into the gallery. "Everything I did was for the neighborhood." The judge's voice cut through her outbursts, calm but unyielding. "The rules apply to everyone, Ms. Harper. Including you." As I walked out of the courthouse, the spring air felt lighter, the neighborhood's future brighter. Linda's tyranny had exposed the fragility of unchecked power, but it also united Willow Creek. We weren't just neighbors anymore, we were survivors of her chaos, ready to rebuild our community without her shadow looming over us. Ethan's car, freshly repaired, gleamed in my driveway that night, a quiet symbol of justice won. But I knew the real VY Tory was bigger. Linda Harper, the HOA dictator, was gone, and Willow Creek was finally free.